Ladies, gentlemen, and others in chat, welcome to another drawing stream. And as tradition is true to tradition, true to tradition, we're just gonna jump straight into it. So, I'm gonna jump into it by reviewing yesterday's practice notes. So, for the 3-minute ellipses, I'm just gonna keep on practicing. Trying at an angle, basically. And straight from straight to curved lines, parallel. Also, keep practicing with a focus on more relaxed curves, fine-tuning, trying to find that, building up that muscle memory, locking in on that Goldilocks zone. Then we have some rotating basic forms. We should have studied the cylinder, which of course I didn't do because I'm an idiot. Also, it was a bit busy at work, so priorities. But whatever. We'll just have to make do with what we can, okay? And then manipulating forms where we're going to bend, stack, subtract, and intersect them. I'm going to continue to try to do 2 of each. According to the notes, we need a little bit more advanced stacking. Stepping up on an advanced stacking, and I did manage to make some quick references of a bent cylinder, not necessarily the longest cylinder, but it is something. And also like subtracted references, which I haven't made, but we're just gonna have to do that. And we'll just have to make do without. And then we are going to, with the mannequins, we have found our reference, okie dokie, and we had a big success with the construction frame. That really helped with our proportions. So we're just going to continue with that for at least for a little while. So with that out of the way, let's bring out our stopwatches, or our timers. 1 3-minute timer and 1 10-minute timer. And we will just start and see how we go. Okay. Okay, that wasn't. I don't know why I keep. Okay, so they're not exactly even. I'll try and focus on there's not exactly a lot of it's That wasn't a lot of gradient on that one. Okay. Trying to match the angle of the major axis so that it reflects the angle of my arm. Let's just try a straight one just for the heck of it. Kind of like the fact that I struggle to see the illusion of the three-dimensionality, that it's something that is turning in 3D space. I remember way back when I started drawing digitally. I struggle to see the illusion of 3D when it came to drawing spheres. I really struggle with that. Like, I would draw a sphere, and then I would like draw the equator, if you will, the cross contour, wrapping lines, or whatever you want to call it. And it wouldn't be really struggle to see it. But the interesting thing is, like, when I did it freehand, I didn't see it. But if I use a digital ruler to like make a perfect circle and a perfect ellipse or equator or whatever you want to call it, then guess what? Things turned out rather well. Right? So I was like, gosh darn it, brain, like, why don't you see it when I do it freehand? Why do you see it when I use digital rulers? I never found a solution. I never found out why, but eventually I just learned to see it. So it could be that I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just, for whatever reason, my brain is just like, nah, that stuff is flat, dude. It's a very aggressive curve. I shouldn't do that. High energy curve. Okay. And There's that. 10 minutes of rotating basic forms. And let's not necessarily get so caught up in the grid this time. Let's just instead focus on I don't know. Shape consistency or something like that. Which seems to be going fine if I can just, you know, avoid jinxing myself. That would be nice. Yeah, we can just basically just turn this into a box at that point. Yeah, there you go. There I can sort of see the vision, as it were. Yeah, let's not worry about that. So, can we repeat it, but this time, but now with a box that we... Let's not do the... I mean, again, I don't necessarily think that it matters that much, but let's just... It shouldn't really matter. Right. Somewhere along the line, this that box became a freaking rectangle. Somewhere along that line, that cube. Somewhere along here, it became a rectangle. Now, tough, and it's an extra tough pill for me to swallow because like this is what I started with, like basic geometric shapes, and been at it for quite some time, and I go like, nope. Haven't quite figured it out yet. I haven't fully internalized it. Or maybe I'm just being very, very hard on myself. I don't know. Hard to tell, chat. Hard to tell. I'm just slipping back into my draw box ways and go like, no, it's not good enough, it sucks, and so on and so forth. All of that. Stop. Ah. How's that line? I'm trying to sort of just trying to like focus on this one line and just be like, all right, I just need to tilt that one a little bit and see if that strat works out, but I don't think it does because it keeps shrinking. It's a game of, it's almost like a game of telephone, and I'm like, stop. Okay, so X, 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 nothing. That's kind of how it, so it's turning that way. Alright. Next, manipulate forms. Let's freaking go for 10. Let's manipulate some forms for the next 10 minutes, chat. And we can actually, let's start with the references. And again, we're not necessarily too caught up on the actual scale of the thing. We're more interested in just a more alright, something like that. And then more advanced stacking. I'm kind of like thinking like a what if we have one solid box here? All right. And then still feeling I'm playing it very safe here, but maybe a much more top-down view of I suppose this also helps with rotating the boxes. Drawing through them. It's good for spatial awareness. Okay, so we don't need that one. We don't need any of this. Leveling up, chat. So that's the 2 stacks. Not sure if we've done this one before. Doesn't matter. Spaced repetition. Let's frickin' go. The angles are probably wrong. Doesn't matter. It's wider. Something like that. It goes, then it goes down, and it curves. Alright, that's all of that. Probably. We lose all of that. And here, we lose that. Something like that, I would assume. Not perfect, but good enough given the time constraints. Then it goes, yeah, and then, well, we do need a line like that, and from there, we have another, then we have a diagonal from there. And that one goes straight down. That plane is much narrower. Something like that. And I don't think we just need to delete on this. And yeah. Again, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but and that overlap could have been better, more visible, but blah. So that's 2 intersect, 2 stacking, 2 subtract. Okay. We lose that. We lose that. I suspect something like that. I have no idea if that one is correct or not. I suspect not, because I don't think that that cylinder there is, that curve doesn't align with the plane. I suspect. Anyway, that's what you get for that's what you get for drawing from imagination, or drawing without reference, I guess. Okay, so and basically what we found out was that right. Basically, I'll do a little bit of a prep work, and now we will just do the mannequin for 10 minutes. And we gotta remember to also push the pose a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit more dramatic. I wonder if we should just almost straighten it more. Right. His shoulders kind of like I'm not sure how to like push this pose without messing up the balance. Right. But I guess here we are. I suppose we could, you know, change the orientation of the head, push it that way. Alright, there's a center line there. Where's the stretch and where's the pinch in this pose? I think I see a pinch on both sides. I go like, that does not compute. Let's see that let's just say for the sake of argument that he is raising his leg even more. Right. And there's the other arm, and that the other. I'm kind of like going up here, tapering up box. Different angle on the knife because why not? Angle of this. Maybe he has like his hand raised like that instead. Changing the pose a little bit. And you kind of wanna, right? Because the base of his doesn't necessarily have to be perfectly. Right. Foot, toes. Because I see a pinch here, like he's leaning forward, but then there's also a pinch here. So I'm just gonna go with this and a pinch there that he's kind of like something like that. All right. Since we have the time, let's just, you know, see if we can make this into a bit more geometric. Angular thing to solve the quote-unquote perspective. Like I would, obviously we would have a line like that. I kind of noticed like with that kind of a thing, like his by raising his leg. Okay, yeah, if I raise it even more. That would be like that is actually the front plane of the pelvis. Right, that's the front, as weird as it looks, and that's the bottom plane. Right, and then cylindrical leg. And I kind of noticed that his knees, when it's stretched out like that, almost reaches the so if his leg is raised by that much, how much would his rather right, cleaning things up a bit. Yeah, maybe this was this pose was too difficult for me, but you know. So what? Sometimes you punch a bit above your weight class, as it were, to show better to learn. All right. So we can turn that one on, turn in a new one, and now we're doing for this going another 10 minutes. This time we're doing the silhouette. And let's see if we can get this one right. I'm not 100%. Wait, what? Oh, we're off for a good start, aren't we? What? Seriously? All the way? Dang, dude. How about that? Roughly speaking. And just... we kind of figured out we should just kind of just... I think we'll like block in... I don't know, the big... kind of like block... yeah, that hand... okay, hold it. Okay, I can see the mistakes here. That hand is much smaller. And then the deltoid comes down there, and then the other just before. Hand is always tricky because try not to get too caught up in the bumps of the anatomy. It's roughly speaking something along there. Yeah, we want to have some sort of triangular shape thereabouts. And then that one. Yeah. Sort of flattens out, and then that curve is actually much higher. And goes all the way to the center line. And that curve, we have heal. And then straight up, more or less. Is that a good spot for that? Pretty spot on, nice. Oh, that's a bit too high for my comfort. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It does go in a little bit, and then we have an arch here. And we have a second arch like that. And all that internal stuff with the arm kind of just disappears. How we're doing on time? 3 minutes to spare. Wow. Okay, let's see if we can communicate. Oh, pull pants, that's right. They're not on a separate layer. Oh, if that's the case, I might just keep them the way that they are. Okay, kind of. Yeah, that's a heck of a lot better than anything else I've done so far. So we're definitely on the right track. We just need to do this for a while and then gradually scale it back. I'm not sure if I'm gonna, I don't think I'm gonna remove the grid completely right out the freaking gate. Instead, I would like gradually up the difficulty. Right? We're not gonna go into full Dark Souls boss mode here. We're not. Instead, I would do the instead I would do the like maybe remove the diagonals, you know, remove the diagonals, remove the and then do some of these without the diagonals, and then do some of these, and then maybe just remove and then remove the horizontal and vertical, so I just have the frame, and do that, and then remove until I'm comfortable with that, and then remove the frame, like gradually upping the difficulty. Gamify it. Let's go. Okay. So now 10-minute review. Let's go. We're kind of already sneaked away at it. All right, so I feel that I'm on to something, but I need to make it a smoother gradient, or not necessarily smoother, but a clearer gradient, and more focus on keeping them, you know. So instead of just keep practicing, we're gonna mix it up a little bit here and clear grad. I don't have a lot of space to take notes here, so I'm gonna have to shorten it. Plus align axes. Right. I need to align to the axes and keep them in. And here. It's a bit, again, like it. I'm on the right track. It's just I'm not entirely sure what. I'm not entirely sure what to focus on. I mean, well, we could try to slow down. Slow down or slow down ghost. Plus ghost. I feel like, because again, I feel like I'm sort of cheating myself from but like this one turned out rather well. But again, I need to I don't know, maybe rotation See if we can. Let's see if it will. It will. There is a chance that it will help if I get some reference for the rotation. And now that we sort of unlocked Blender mode, let's go. Okay. Okay, of course I can't reference the subtraction or stacking because. But yeah, I should definitely get some references for that too. Because then I have because then I will have something to compare to, which is honestly worth its weight in gold. Yeah. Okay, so the angles on that one was bad. But even so, like it's bad compared to the reference, but I don't necessarily think that it is a bad bend. Like sure, the angle of the ellipses are wrong. Like this one should have been flatter and that one should have been pulled more back. I don't think that we can. No, we can't rectify it by. So in that regard, but like that aside, it's still a good bend. It's a bad bend relative to the reference, but it's a good bend in isolation? Question mark on its own. And this one, not necessarily that bad. It's better. I'll give it that. Like this one is pretty much right on the money, and this one, but again, like not a bad bend. It's just bad according to the reference, but still, yeah. So we could follow the reference more, probably follow the reference more closely. This one too. See if we can align it size-wise to this one. Probably not, because that one is... Yeah, the proportions on this one are completely out of whack. I don't think I can, in good conscience, align them. So this box is fairly accurate, or relatively accurate. But this one is way off, both in terms of size and rotation. But the intersection isn't clearly communicated. Like the overlap could have been clearer. So again, the general conclusion here seems to be like be more accurate towards reference. This one isn't necessarily that bad. Again, proportion-wise, yeah. But it does have the general idea. But I also think that this angle and that angle is wrong. So yeah. So yeah, reference for each. Ref for each. Plus more accuracy. Plus more accuracy, basically. All right. And we kind of gone over this one already. Yeah. Pushed this pose. And I think I've kind of like messed up the proportions of the torso box here. Yeah. So oddly enough, a little bit more proportions. The torso is too small. I'm not sure. Is that... May that be... Yeah, it's because the box torso needs to be bigger than the box torso needs to be bigger than the egg. The egg one, obviously. So, but other than that, it's not necessarily super bad. Like, it's quote-unquote wrong, but again, the point of it is to push the pose. So yeah. But I can remind myself that box torso bigger than egg. My notes are absolutely brilliant. I'm at the end of the year. Oh, that was the 10 minutes. Dang. At the end of the year, my reference notes won't make any sense. And I don't think like I have any note particularly. I don't think I have any notes on this one. No, again, like this one is pretty spot on. It's a little bit off, but then again, push the pose or whatever. So keep practice. Keep practice. Yeah. Oh, there we go. And it's the 14th today, chat. Yeah, 14th. Look at that. Okay. Oh, we can close that one. And see if we can avoid doing crashing OBS. Isn't there like a... No... Is there like a no disturb mode on my... I could put it on airplane mode. Nah. Might be a little bit excessive. Right. So here we are. And as we mentioned from yesterday's stream, I've dug up some references beforehand. Stumbled over this Art Deco, is that how you say it? Art Deco? Kind of look. And I like it. And large because, like, there's something about this style that I just generally like, but also from a pure utilitarian point of view. Like, it's very geometrical. Which, like, in theory, it should be easier. It should be easy to draw. And while stumbling around these, I also found a reference for like Art Deco, like window panels grid kind of thing. So I dropped that into the previous page to sort of sell you on the illusion that he's kind of like, this is the building. He's kind of like in the back alleys of this building. He sort of rounds the corner and comes to the front exit. And so like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna run in the front exit. And then he comes into like this lobby area kind of thing, and we have some elevators here, and we have you know, I think this is a hall, this is a hallway, and this is a hallway, and like since the lamps are the same and the floor is the same, I think this is the same thing. I don't, are those elevators? They could be elevators, but I also found these elevators, which has this like kind of thing going on. Like these are very. I thought that they were just like panels in the hallway that it will just like alternate between these, kind of like how it has these panels here alternating. But yeah, again, or curtains or whatever the heck it is. But again, very simple and geometric. So yeah, but I don't think that I can, but let's just see. Right. Right to left, left to right. What should I say? Oh. It's to probably a representation. Right click the image to find transform options. Maybe if it's just, maybe if it's not embedded into, let's see if I take a local image. There we go. As a reference image, a new file layer. Oh. Yeah, because I have as a new layer, new file layer, open a new document, insert as a reference image, but it doesn't look like it has. All right. So instead of dragging and dropping, paste reference image from the system's clipboard. But I still can't. There's no right click option on it. But is it that if I select it, image, transform, isn't it? This is layer. Scale image to new size. Oh, yeah, here we go. Mirror image vertically. Again, it's just the image. Yeah. Yeah, mirroring off. That's the way that I want it. That's really weird. Maybe that's old. Oh, is that what we're supposed to do? Ah, so that's all right. That's not so bad. Okay, cool. Again, that might end up us having to redraw this whole freaking horse again. But hey, mileage when it comes to horse drawing. Yeah, let's. Okay, cool. I guess you can't always win. You can just leave it like that, I guess. Or alternatively, I mean, the dude can just be very yeah, but I have no idea. You know what? Screw it. Let's just go. Let's just start, chat. Ultimately, let's just start and see where we end up. Right? Turn off the thumbnail. Alright, let's just get stuff blocked in, I guess. And let's just see how far we're gonna get on this sketch thing. No thoughts, just jazz tunes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna bother with... At least not on this... becomes one of those... Do I really want to do... do I really want to bother with all of that mess on a sketch? Layer. Or do we just... Oh. Should probably better at alternating the shape of my my brush. I don't incorporate that nearly enough into my workflow. I should probably do that more. We are learning, chat. Yeah? I could see the vision. I can see the vision. It's I suppose it's kind. Yeah, because like it boxes into boxes, it goes into boxes. Yeah, there's gonna be a royal pain in your butt to ink out, but it will look pretty gosh darn cool. Not gonna lie. And maybe, ooh, I can look at, like it has these panels tiling and I can incorporate that into that window reaction panel thing going on here. boy, this is gonna be a... Tempted to bring in parallel. Is that flat? No. I can't. I can't rotate it after. Oh. Wow, pooey me. I would like to see it, please. There we go. Maybe we turn on snap to assistance. Yeah. Then. Yeah. Kind of interesting how this automatically creates a dynamic, interesting line. Because you have all these little curves and bumps, but at the same time, you also have a straight on the other. Curves on one side and bumps on another. All right, so there's that. Thank you for your service. We can throw you into the trash. I should probably lock that sketch layer so we don't mess it up. I mean, we could also do... I'm not sure how effective it would be, though. I don't think that it would. No, I don't think. I mean, it is a 2-point. It is a 2-point perspective. So we could 2-point perspective. Bring out the big guns. And of course, we just need to align this mess. So where? Oh, I can. Oh, cool. Where's like the center line of this? Neat. Yeah. Again, like if I turn on. I think that the horizon is right on that one right there. I don't want you to snap to anything. Not to that one, that one. think yeah. Again, it doesn't have to be a carbon copy. And I would like, I mean, this, oh. Kind of locks in. Use that as our reference, like that way. And then this one is surprisingly, nope. Closer? Yeah, because I mean there might be some camera distortions here, but that again, that is interesting because now we have revenge. Oh. That could be an interesting composition, chat. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see what we can. Let's see what we can cook up here. Right. What? Why doesn't it show? Huh? Is it because of the... It's not because of the reference. Is it because of the assistant? Why doesn't it... Huh? Weird. That's weird, but okay. Let's not go super tiny. Snap to assistant. Let's just frickin' go, I guess. Yeah, there's some camera distortion lens thing going on here, and I don't like that. But hey, here we are. And no. Ah. Okie dokie. Yeah. I'm not going to capture that camera distortion, but that's okay. Yonk. Okay, I might have to. Ah! Oh boy. No. Oh, but we also need. Obviously, we need this one as well. And here's the bottom. Right. Sketches like this kind of like they do kind of end up being, I don't know. I've done experiments with this before, and like it's almost like the sketches become, or the drawings themselves become a bit, I don't know, sterile. It's probably because like these are such. I don't know how to put it. perfect, perfect lines, you know? That they they sort of lose that vibrancy and quote-unquote soul that the other sketchy lines, the more sketchy lines have. So it is, as great as this is, it's important. I think it's still important that we, when it comes to the line art, we go over these and sort of oh, that is why I am in the wrong. I'm in the wrong layer. Or not in the wrong layer. I'm in the wrong freaking panel. That's why. I was like, ah. Don't worry, chat. I know how to use Krita. Yeah. Oh. Also, demonic horse, so I suppose it wouldn't not necessarily care too much about. Maybe it's just, since it's a demonic horse, maybe it's just too big. Bigger than your regular horse. Yeah, it's growing again. It's growing on me. It's growing on me, but we definitely need to. Like, I get it that it's a sketch, but a sketch also needs to be clean enough that I can make heads or tails of what the heck is going on, and not too many confusing lines. Like, it doesn't really feel that those lines, I mean, granted it's the horizon line, but it doesn't, it feels like those lines are more coming towards the camera rather than disappearing into. But, yeah. Oh. Whatever. Where were we? What? part of me wants to render the crap out of this lamp, but another part of me is going like, nobody's going to notice this piece of geometry, so don't you dare bother spend a lot of time on it. He says as he spends a lot of time on it. Right, so maybe we can just... But it's a good, but that is also a good opportunity to experiment with, like, don't show too much. Just allude to the lines rather than showing them out straight, you know? That is a bit of a trick in and of itself, right? I mean, yeah, something like that. Okay. There's some panel. Maybe I need to crank up this, not necessarily 100%, but to a gentleman 79, so I can actually see some of these. Panels here. Yeah, that does a lot to sort of like add. This is where you sort of like the hours just go by because like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna add just one more line, and then you go like 16 hours has gone by, and you go like, oh dang. I'm hungry. Okay, that pattern there, I'm kind of just tempted to just do what I did earlier with the whole with the window and just like draw it flat and then turn it into and then distort it perspective wise, so I have a flat template, as it were. So we're just gonna draw these. Technically speaking, might have drawn that whole in one line and then trim away the excess, but you know, what can we do? And add some depth. And ignore, as weird as it looks like, ignore the reference, because it's, again, it's just a reference. Are all the, more or less, kind of. That one is different, but that's okay. Okay, so you have something like that, and you go like, boom. And that might be a serious step. Well, like, again, like compositional wise, it kind of makes, and I kind of liked the idea that you have this one. And maybe, yeah, and maybe I should just start using perspective rulers and so on and so forth to really tighten up my sense of space. Because, like, even if I don't necessarily like snap to the assistant, I can turn that off and just draw freely, but you know, I can then go like, oh yeah, I kind of want to box roughly here, right? And just, and then, you know, because this box will then align with, yeah, these lines would go towards that, will go towards this vanishing point, and this line would go that, right? And then you kind of go like, oh yeah. Granted, now this box gets distorted to Kingdom Hell, to Kingdom Come, but it gives you an idea of, like, yeah, like where things fit in. And obviously you shouldn't draw things like so that are so distorted in perspective, but it gives you an idea to go like, all right, yeah, I want something that fits, and it becomes easier to visualize the 3D space, even if you're just freehanding it. So yeah, maybe I should start doing that. The things we learn along the way, chat. Yeah, because I think that, yeah, because like it's just snapping. Interestingly, it is for like the brush tool in general, not the individual brush. I don't think that is calligraphy. Wait, what? Oh, that is vector. Never mind. I was like, that was pretty freaking bonkers. So there's the background for that. It's kind of cool that the horse's head kind of aligns with the perspective. It's got like the horse is looking in the direction. Go like, yeah. So it'll, and all the lines kind of like, you have all these leading lines. Kind of cool. Not gonna lie. I think this was the, yeah, that's the brush size. So I'm kind of just tempted to sort of like where we're gonna compositional wise throw that corner there. Do we throw, well, like throw the corner there? Maybe, I don't know. But like, the building. Let me see here. Where's the reference and crank the visibility up? We don't necessarily see where. Well, we have a ground plane here, right? But that, so this would probably be the closest to the wall because it kind of disappears behind the stairway. So yeah, we're just gonna use this. Which means that they would intersect right about. That's the. Yeah, but like that isn't the. That's just a corner though. We need to. Yeah, we need the ground plane, and the ground plane I would say goes. Well, there is a vanishing point all the way over there though, so. We do. Yeah, if we do the ground plane like that. Yeah, let's do that. And that means that we don't want anything over here and we don't want anything on this side. And we can sort of get rid of all of this. Whee! I think. Okay. Yeah, let's see. How does this look if we just... Looking at it from a distant chat, I'm not I'm hesitating. I'm not sure if it works. There's something about like the extreme distortion of the top here that just, I don't know, throws me off for some reason. It's just clean that up so it's a little bit clearer. Yeah, because I don't think that the perspectives matches with the horse. The horse would also be really distorted because like it's sort of standing in front of the vanishing point. Which means we either have to redo the perspective. Yeah, so the perspective, like, it is good, but it just needs to... It needs to flatten out. And I think it needs to flatten out significantly. But I do remember from one of my one of the many art tutorials that I bought over the years. A general rule is that you have one vanishing point very close to the picture plane and the other one pretty far away. And if you have that, then you're kind of golden. Which is good, because then we can then we're not tracing the reference, if that makes sense. So that is which basically means that our vanishing point is like there now, but instead you should be able to. Oh no, it's because I locked it like an idiot. Oh. Like, you would really move it out, something like that. I'm not sure like if there's like an ironclad rule for this or anything like that, but there's that. Okay, so what if we just because now it's not, obviously now it's not going to match, but that's okay. That's okay. A-okay. Because now we are just going to go straight with a fiber. Oh, if we start at like the same point, you know, I'm not sure if that would even. Yeah, again, maybe that is too that is too far out again. Okay. So that is way too far, but let's not lock this. Let's bring it something like that. Right. There aren't really any. One needs to be close to the picture plane, maybe even inside of it, but the other one needs to be outside of needs to be outside of it and far away, close to the picture plane and outside of it. Okay, we're kind of just using. Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Kind of just question mark. But it does stick out a lot more. Okay, but instead of like, okay, let's use this one. Yeah, that could work, I think. Yeah. So we just I think that could work, chat. Alright. And we could still have this one just is going to be at a very different angle, but like that is sort of like the top of it. Oh, dang, it just but if that corner is yeah, okay. It like I said, it flattens it. But that's low-key kind of what we wanted. So that is the top. And, you know, it's still vertical, so that is kind of the framing of the door. Oh, would you look at that? Kind of nail that alignment. Right, so I'm using these corners as my reference. So I'm just gonna have to cut across here. Oop. Which is fine. Right. Changing the perspective without actually changing the perspective. Okay, so if we just agree that the lamps are like that. That is a lamp. That is a lamp. That is a lamp. And oops, that too is a lamp. So what we don't need is this. Does that make? No, because this is the one that we don't need, right? Still need to think, which is not exactly my strongest suit, but hey. Right? And then we just draw one line across, and then we have actually, we're smart about this, chat. We're just gonna do the temp player cheat skill. Like that. Right? And then we can just connect. Right? I mean, temp layers is just such a... It feels like it's just... frickin'... It does feel like cheating sometimes, even more than perspective ruler. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to capture those. I don't think that will be correct. You gotta do this one, and then do this one, and then do that one. Whee! Okay. Definitely a new tempo layer. Just drag that sucker all across the canvas. And because of perspective, right? No, you silly goose, you need to go back. Oh, actually. Oh yeah, right, because like it goes all the stairway wraps around. Ooh. Additional 3-dimensionality, overlapping forms. Let's freaking go, chat. Let's go. Pooey pants. Oh, I guess we'll just... Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Yeah, because, yeah, but again, those are the corners that we sort of like, okay, because now it cuts off. So... I don't know. I mean, that looks kind of correct. Sort of, maybe, a little bit. What am I doing here? That's that line. That's that layer. Okay, yeah. So, we're just... Yeah. Right. Just to make that clear. We can then collapse that one. Oh, so I want it. No. Wow, these stairs are going in a very different direction than what I... That's the one that I want. That's the one that I want. And that's the one that I want. And And that's the one that I want. And that's the one that I want. Wow. When my own reference, when my own lines just spits in the face of the reference, it's like, it looks wrong. Like, no, it's supposed to align with the reference. But so where are we? Oh boy, this one, this one's gonna be a juice. Okay, let's just use. All right, yeah, it's gonna go very. We're just gonna have to again eyeball it. And I would assume that all of these sort of just align automatically. So we're just going to do this. And these are further in than that one. So we're just going to pick that point there. And that's the bottom of them, right? All right. So now my brain is melting, but that's okay. That's that one. That one is there. You just gotta keep your head on straight when it comes to these things. Okay. So we want these parts here to be open, like such. All right. There we go. Cool. And we're just gonna again use it as a reference. And there we go. Boom. Now we just need to clean up our mess. So we don't want that, we don't want that, we don't want that, and we don't want that. Boom. And we're probably going to need another template, because what? And we're not going to see anything there. We're not going to see that one, but we're going to see this one, and we're definitely going to see this one. And I suppose we're going to do that. Do it like that. And do it like that. We can do it like that. And we can. Oh no, not that way. do it like that. Boom. Because if we now, we can go and get rid of all of this. And we can't get rid of that one, not yet. But we can get rid of this one. And this one. And now we can get rid of that. And bada bim, bada boom. Look at that. Chat that. I'm surprisingly happy with how this is turning out. Kind of low-key like the contrast. And I think that because we're going with Art Deco, that rigid line art that we get for the for the paneling here, kind of like it does low-key help out. Yeah. Much better than the initial one, because again, too warped. But this one, very nice, very nice, very nice. As I'm almost to the point where I want to kind of low-key want to throw this into the trash, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Nice. Where's my baby? Here's my baby. And there's my other baby. Oh, I have a lot of babies. Okay. So we'll just. I also kind of like what I did with this lamp earlier. By simply just not doing all of the internal lines, just alluding to it. It's like kind of cool. Let's see, kind of like that. And then back like that. Just alluding to it. We have an outline and then alluding to it. You gotta remember that not all of these lines are going to align. Oh, I'm so like that. So yeah, we can then do stuff like this, and sort of like maybe especially trying to show like the quote-unquote three-dimensionality of it, that it's a bunch of cubes without having to render absolutely frickin' every frickin' line on the inside of this boxy thing. Something like that. Okay. What else do we want? What else do we got going here? Yes. Staircases, my beloved. Vertical. Whee! doesn't necessarily have to be super clean or anything like that. Oh, right. We also have some line going up there, there. All of that mumbo jumbo and like the. Do I dare? It is the corner that we are using as a reference, so we could try. But I mean, we could try this one because that one would work. Yeah. That one is that one, but I'm not sure about will this one work? Because like, hang on. No, I don't think that one is going to work. That is just gonna melt my brain for real. But we can do something like that. It would have to be super short though, because I don't necessarily want that edge. Oh, wrong way. Up. And stop, please. Up and stop. Up and stop. Yep. I am surprisingly happy with oh, right. I suppose we could collapse that one. But we also need where is the what that's the top. No, I mean this. Yeah. Holy smokes! Like this plane. Oh my goodness! These lines are tripping me up. These lines, that they belong to that one, right? So we're just gonna put them there. And then it goes out to that one, and then it goes. This is the bottom one. Oh my goodness, this chat, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, is going to melt my brain like nobody's business. All right, so this one needs to go out. This one goes out and goes down, out, down, out, down, out, down, out, down, down, out, down, so if I've done it correctly now, that well, theory, make things look very pretty and nice. Or alternatively, I royally screwed up. I think I royally screwed up because the stairs kind of like, you're supposed to be able to go up on this side as well. So, but I am onto something because you can see at the very least this staircase here, so... But because the perspective is different... there is definitely an edge there, but then of course the question is like, how... How does that... Oh, I already reached the bottom of the stairs. Lovely. That's the corner. And then you would have a second line. Yeah, because like this line would kind of go like that. Because what disappears are these lines. So you can kind of see. Right, because then you see the edge of that one. Right. So, and it wouldn't necessarily be, would it be this one? No, because then it, no, it would probably, wouldn't it be? You know what, this is melting my brain to biblical proportions. So I think we're just gonna keep them like that. Keep it simple, stupid. Alright. So, Mr. Horseman is looking here, and let's see. Do we need anything more here? Or is that... Well, we do need like to establish like an end of the where the corner of this building is, because we did round a corner in the previous panel. So hey, let's draw a corner. And can I get a yay or nay in chat? Probably not. I do kind of feel... he throws is that this is the same corner that he kind of threw after him, and he kind of like had a twist to it. So yeah, let's just put that line, the corner there. Yeah. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Now, of course, I need... Now comes the fun part. I need to... Where's my thumbnail? Here's my thumbnail. Oh, boy. That door is very different. But I need my dude... My dude bro to run into the doorway. And it is a big... Oh. It is a big commitment. But... I think it's time to take the hand off the chess piece, chat. I'm just gonna clean up some of this. I think it's time to take the hand off the chess piece and combine these layers so that we have one master sketch layer. Yeah, because additional detailing can be ironed out with line art. And also, not to mention, whatchamacallit, the temp layers. That's what I was after. Alright, so now we have one master layer. Yay! No take backsies, chat. No take backsies. Alright. But that doesn't mean we can't do some how in the ever-living crap are we gonna do this, chat? Well, it's fairly simple. Actually, it's very simple. It's not. Draw the dude to scale, because now we actually have like much more tangible geometry. But I also feel like I'm kind of on a roll with the whole geometry thing, so I could hop over and I can't. That is, yeah, this panel right here. Nice. But unfortunately, I can't distort references perspective-wise, reference images. But I can flip them on their head, and I can also mirror them. Not that it matters too much for them, which is actually what I did with this one. Very nice. Cute little trick that I learned today of all times. So kind of like bursting in through that door. So we need like a double doors like that. The horse is too big. He can't follow. Or at least that's the idea. Losing him inside. And then a basic idea for an elevator here, but then how are we gonna solve that, chat? Um, uh, hang on, now that I think about it, like the ground plane goes. That's not the ground plane. That's just the. That's not the ground plane. That's no moon. Oh. Why do I get that on this one, but not here? Well, I mean, I'm not that I'm complaining, but it's just so weird. Anyway. Hot, right? Yeah, fine. Let's see. This is the bottom plane. And this is the wall. Which means the bottom plane... That's the bottom plane. And it stops right behind the horse's leg. Nice. Right, so we can just do this and this, right? For now. And we can get rid of all of this for now. Alright, so now we have, I suppose we could also, just for my own reference, a guiding line that way, and a guiding line that way, so just... Helped me visualize the bottom plane. I'm going to just draw a representative plane here, like that, loosely sketched in, and then get rid of everything else in here and behind the horse. And of course, since I'm an idiot, now we have to clean up this mess. because otherwise I'm gonna get confused as all heck and go like, wait a minute, whoa, what are these lines? What do they mean? There we go. All right. That looks much better. So, back to reality. I mean, screw it. Let's just do another one. Not in panel 3, but in panel 4. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what perspective are we talking here? Like, seriously, can't I control that? Even give that a custom color? What if I... Okay. Aha. There we go. And now, I give you a custom color. Blue dabba dee dabba da. Aha. Because I am gonna get confused as all heck. Did the music die on me? No, it's just super silent. For some reason. There we go. Okay. Okay. I feel like... Okay, so if we're gonna go with the same principle, that one vanishing point can be close to the picture edge of the picture plane, and we kind of like want to go like, look at this dude, like that is a focal point, like leading the eye. Like the initial perspective that I have is not necessarily super bad. We can use it as a base. I mean, look at that. Would you look at that, chat? My ability to eyeball the perspective is not super good, but that's why we eyeball it. Let's see. Okay, so what are we doing here? Are we doing this one? I think let's... Because we have two elevator designs. But, like, this one is very... Dare I say, too gosh darn boring? And I do want to challenge myself a little bit, and I think like these flowery arches here could be a fun little challenge, especially when you have to do them in perspective. What the heck is going on in the ceiling here? They look like pipes, but they're... I certainly hope not. They're probably just some... Are they pipes? Doesn't matter. I'm not including pipes. Ain't no pipes in this apartment complex. Apartment complex with Art Deco art style. Rent is probably going to be notoriously... Anyway. Stop yapping and start drawing, I guess. No. Let's just do something like this. And does it... Yeah, it does have like little like tile row like such. And of course it has like... It needs to have these... I'm having flashback to like one of the first big perspective drawing challenges that I did, and it was kind of like this, except it was much more front facing. But basically I wanted to have a character that kind of like opened up a pair of double doors. I seem to remember like the reference or the idea that I had in my head was kind of like in the first RoboCop movie when he kind of goes into the gas station, or is it a gas station or is it a store? But he opens up. It was like this shot, and I remember I really struggled to figure out the rotation of the door as it rotated off its hinges, and I quit in frustration because my brain turned into mush. So we can just continue that line, I guess. I want to give it some thickness. And most likely a lot of this is just gonna go. So there's our little door frame. Cute, adorable. We need our character here, close to the vantage point, so I don't like bleeding. And no, we're not gonna do it. We're not like we're going to do. I think let's start with the elevator, right? Because if the elevator has that height, right, that means the door is going to be this height, and then it's going to go out like that, right? Oh, eraser mode, please. There we go. Thank you. Right, and which layer is this? It's a door frame layer. Okay, cool. We can just continue you out. I have no. Well, it need. Well, then again, it is a double doorway, so. But it probably needs to be cut off at some point, I guess. All right, so yeah, that is the height. Or is the or is the elevator doors taller than the door? I need to think about this. And I need more water. Toilet break. Be right back, chat. Don't touch that dial. Yeah. All right, now we're back. So, got my water. We got some soft tunes. I'm trying to think, like, if these are taller, but you also, again, I also want to communicate that these, with the elevator floor watch indicator. So instead of, I could do perspective ellipse. What the? Perspective ellipse. Custom color. Red. Alright, cool. Let's think about this, chat. It's something akin to that. Except, obviously, it needs to be... Can I move this one straight down? Ooh, I can. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to work. See if we can get this to work. So if I then lock you in place, but turn your visibility off, lock you in place, and turn your visibility on. Of course. I'm not sure why. Oh, right, yeah, because doesn't really matter. All I needed, what I needed is for it to align with the. Okay, so we're gonna use that. Okay, so, but we also need it to be. So if that is the outmost arch, because it has two arches, can I then be so bold as to just copy paste this sketch layer and then not move it, but shrink it down and then move it in probably need to shrink it down a lot more. Something I can do that. Yeah? Oh, yes, no? Right, because that's the white arch. Yeah. I think we're gonna stick with that, chat. We're gonna stick with that. Alright, cool. And that is into the wall, so we also have a bit of a box that sticks out here. Whoop. No. Actually, it's a bit. No, let's just leave it like this. We don't have to follow the reference completely 110%. Crying out loud. Like such. And then what we can erase is all of this stuff in here. And of course we need to erase that one too. Boom, there we go. And so that is the inner corner. Just for visual interest. Right. Okay, we have an elevator. Roughly speaking. It probably needs to go inwards like that. Outwards like that. Inwards like that. And nope, other way. This way. Boom. Crank up the opacity on this sucker. And it's kind of like just a... well, since I'm using... I don't know. Just use these. I'm not sure if that is perfectly in center, but... I'm not exactly gonna be aiming to be an architect here either, so. Whee. Door is about there. So all of that. I suppose we could just continue these lines. Come from the bottom there and out. Wait, what is on the sketch layer? It's only it's only that part that's on the sketch layer. Everything else is on. Everything else is on this layer. Okay, cool. Wait. Oh, pulley pants. And we can collapse that down. And now we can continue. Continue these lines like such. Erase away the stuff that we don't need. Another temp layer. Da, da, da. Such. Yeah. Erase that. That is that. And that is just down to the sketch. There we go. Okay. Cool. Alright, and on the corner of the wall is there. We have this beautiful system. And Then we also need... But these... The elevator is taller. The elevator door is taller and slimmer. Definitely slimmer because like it's double doors. Bada bing, bada boom. So you like barges in with double doors. So it can't be as tall. I'm kind of just spitballing here, but oh. Wrong way. Wrong way again. It's like the third time I'm... Oh, that's a thick door frame. Like the third or fourth time I'm drawing that dark brown hallway. Or doorway. And of course the big question is, do the doors swing in or do they swing out? Like it has this stand in between them, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna go for a button panel. Just because. And right. Something like that. And boom. Easy peasy. Nailed it. Something like that. Turn off the visibility on. How does it look? Turn off that stupid thumbnail art as well. Yeah, this one is way too, as it is, it's way too chunky to be the doorway. Like, that doesn't match up. So that needs to be trimmed down. Yeah. Have like these detailing thing going. But yeah. Right now I'm kind of just interested in getting the vibe down, kind of sort of. But then again, of course, if the doors are swinging inwards into the hallway, oh, that changes that changes absolutely everything, ladies and gentlemen. Because then I would need some sort of... How would that work? Like that, that is the axis, and then like it. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I wanted. Let's save here before we do anything else. And again, doesn't really have any detail, but I could do, probably should do. Oh, looks like there's only one door handle on it, and it's this one. If you want to flip it, it becomes this one, right, from the inside. I think. Oh, funny how that works. Thinking. So the dude. Well, I probably should commit that. It's not the end of the world, because again, I can just still separate it from most of the other artwork. Let's bring you back into the fold. There's some more. Detail. This whole brown frame thing. But that is still flat, and that goes in, and that goes out. Right. But how does this align? So what's the problem? Well, the problem is... Okay, well, what if we kind of. Cut that in half, like that. Right, and then... Right, that thing is the bottom part of that thing right there. Could work. I would still... Like, he's opening it. Swings it outwards. Which means... since it's like rotating on the hinges, yeah, but then it would have its own. The door would have its own vanishing point, but on the same horizon line. Yeah. This is gonna be a juicy. Oh, isn't it so fun with perspective? Uh-huh. Give you a custom, not the global color, custom color. Let's make you green, because why not? Okay. Exciting content. Probably means that I would need another perspective ellipse. If I want to find the arch of it. I think. Right, because like it needs to align with this. Okay, let's just get this sucker to align first and foremost. Right, so that one is kind. No. I think. Hang on. I need a. Swinging. I'm probably making this a heck of a lot more complicated than I need to, but you know, hey, here we are. I don't know, maybe like if we do this and then move. Yeah, because like the pinnacle of it would be like, because the flat line is kind of like this, right? Is that how it works? Like again, I get it looks wrong, but then again, it will get foreshortened because like. Like I'm just gonna. What in the world is he doing? He's cooked. There's some. Hopefully, there's a message to my madness. Just wanna, yeah, you're locked, so I don't accidentally screw something over. But that is like the center. Like, because the widest it can swing is when it's sort of like flat. Right? And we need to align, it needs to be aligned to the perspective, and then also, so that is that the arch? I think that's the arch. So that is. Like, where's this? The center of it is that point there. Right? Like, yeah. Right, so I want that one to be there. That one aligns there. That one. It's kind of roughly speaking in perspective. No, if this one's supposed to be there, then that one needs to be there. I think we need to align you with this one. There we go. Roughly speaking, something. Holy smokesy pants. Something like that. Then I don't need these guidelines. Why am I stressing so much about this? Alright, and that means that somewhere that is the arch that the door can swing, if I understand it correctly. And now we can, in theory, just pick a point along this line, any point. We should probably Yeah, because it is essentially a cylinder. Yeah, it doesn't get any higher than that anyway, so... it just... But doesn't that mean that any... No, because this one goes... There's a top plane, of course. Because it's a cylinder. There's a top plane as well. Yay! Of course there's a top plane, chat. What kind of a... again... This is not exactly how I envisioned today's drawing session to go, but hey, here we are. I fell down the perspective ellipse rabbit hole. Or perspective rabbit hole. Okay, let's see. So your center point needs... Alright, let's just align some points here. Hang on. Let me cook for just a moment. All right. Okay, I need to like lower the opacity here so I can separate one line from the others. And oh, but come on, bada bim, bada boom. Okay, so that means I don't need all of that. I don't need that. I don't need this part. I don't need... Heck, I don't need... No, I don't need this part either. I don't need that. That goes up to there, that goes up to there, that one goes up to there, that one goes down there. And this sucker is annoying, but there we go. Okay. I think I have it. Because if I put one corner there, one corner there, then it will be in perspective. Huh. And where did I put this? The center is this. It's not super perfect, but you know what? And yeah, I can see because like the the vanishing point. Oh, can I just? I could just do. Oh, I could just do. Oh my god, this is terrible to do with a stylus. Let's see if we can. I have to do it with a stylus because left clicking with the mouse is fiddly squat. Well, I can just align it. That is pretty close, not gonna lie. There we go. I'm gonna lock that. I'm gonna lock that. And now where is the... There we go. That is not it, but it can also swing beyond that in, at least, again, in theory. Nope. Okay, so I don't need you. I don't need you. But I do need you. Right, so now I can just lower the opacity of that. And go on this one. And it doesn't connect. Why not, though? And this one. Oh, right. I'm an idiot. I don't need you. Because obviously, it's not going to be... It's not going to have the same vanishing point. Not gonna have the same vanishing point. So if I just pick this and then just, you know, this and then this, yay. And now, if I then turn on that, so give the annoying part isn't going to give this sucker some thickness. Or no, because that is the. Yeah, because it swings outwards, and you're kind of like you would see this thing. Yeah. I mean, okay, screw it. We're just gonna keep it simple, because now my brain is hurting enough already, as it is. Now everything is on one layer. I made a bit of a mistake. But let's see if we can... Alright. What the heck? Oh, those are just guidelines. Okay. Screw my life. And ideally, I should probably have put the frickin' main. Should have put a character. This make a heck of a lot more sense. Yeah, so that is the door, but that is sort of like this plane kind of smooches up against that plane. Oh yeah, planes be smooching. Where is this plane smooching? Yeah, we lose that one. We lose all. Basically, we lose all of that, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I could just delete the whole layer, and now we have that. And we need to turn it at an angle. Holy smokesy pants, that was yeah, it has this pattern thingamabob on it, but I mean that is like a what? 7-year mystery resolved, so go me, I guess. Not exactly the most exciting stuff I've ever done, but you know. Yay. Where's the handle? Handle, alright, so it has like this thing, and then it sort of, it has a line, and it's the line stops. It has a line that stops. Oh. Something like that. Boom. It just goes straight to the top, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about that golden line. My brain is fried. I don't wanna do this anymore. And we're just gonna eyeball it. Meh. There. And we don't want you to be visible anymore. And we can just put a placeholder for the handle like that. Boom, there you go. Okay. Leveling up my perspective drawing skills here. Okay. Like we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere in chat. Any progress is good progress in my humble book. Oh, I just noticed this one doesn't align. I probably have to read. Oh, because this is the vanishing point for that one. Well, now we have a plan for tomorrow's stream. Because I've been at this for 4 freaking hours and I need a break. But yeah, it's coming along rather nicely. I'm still not super happy about the first panel here, right here, where he's kind of rounds the corner. And it wasn't we weren't exactly like hyper efficient, but experimenting and finding our way is not a major part. It is arguably the point of the whole project. So, project-based learning, y'all. Anyway, I think we're just gonna call it here, and yeah, so we'll just pick up where we left off tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central European time. Alright, so until then, keep drawing, keep having fun, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.